A very good morning to everyone and welcome to the Utthaan session today. So today we are starting with a new topic, which is how to handle others' mistakes. And for taking this session, we have Sister Kareena who's joined us today. So before starting, I'll just take a moment to quickly introduce her to all of you. So, Sister Karina has been associated with the Brahmakumaris since the past 43 years, and she specializes into meditation courses, workshops, seminars, conferences, and retreats in various parts of India as well as the headquarters. She's also the active member in the business and industry wing of the Brahmakumaris from 1990 as a trainer, and she's been providing trainings on topics like self-managing leadership. She has also participated into four United Nations projects, and she has also conducted management trainings into various large and small scale business organizations like Nagarjuna Group of Industries, L&T, Reliance, and many more. Also, she has traveled the world for providing her spiritual and social services. Sister, I would like to welcome you to Utthaan on behalf of everyone. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming. Om Shanti, and over to you.
Om Shanti. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much. Good morning to everyone present here for your morning session. I'm sure by coming together for a common theme, a common topic, and letting your mind filled with better ideas, how to cope with different situations in our lives. Not necessary that what is being said here will be a solution. But at least when your mind and intellect focuses on this, you will be able to develop good ideas yourself. That is the main motive behind coming together. When you're at your workplace, it's mostly that your work related ideas, work related thoughts are much more than thoughts related to any life situations. And you're spending more than 8 hours at your workplace. So, an ability which is there within every human being, that we have to use our mind and intellect, the two greatest powers on earth, to live a life and to deal with the situations. The situations are never bigger or more difficult than or non-manageable than the powers of our mind and intellect. It's not that we become God, but just as you see the power of nature, it's so powerful how each element of nature is able to do such a great task on a daily basis. Similarly, we are also part of nature. We are also having this element of eternity within ourselves. So, the power of our mind and intellect is also very, very, very powerful. We cannot miss or unnotice it. Yeah, to get fear, to feel fearful, or to feel confused, or to feel some type of complex within ourselves. It's just the unawareness of the power that my mind and intellect has. And when this same power experiences ego, then also the right decision which the intellect has to take may not be able to. So therefore, we have to very justfully feel and experience these two inner faculties that each of us have, the mind and the intellect. So starting from this aspect, that no problem is such that doesn't have a solution on this very earth. Each one has some reason, each one has some effect, and each one has some way out to deal with it. Do you feel like that? Yes? Do you also feel like that? Yeah? It will happen when the power of your mind and intellect will be handled and experienced by yourself. As many times situations come and they empower us. They completely influence us. So that is the time we are not noticing the power of our mind and intellect. So the first thing is, whenever any situation comes, you have to start as an observer to the situation and not let the situation influence you. For example, somebody has made some mistake. It could be small, it could be larger. It could also affect the department, or it could affect the company as a whole, or it could affect your family. Then again, whichever type of the situation it is, instead of feeling reactive, or the person who has made a mistake, he feels guilty of what he has done, or the person is not wanting to take the responsibility of the mistake. It could be anything. But the method to deal with this situation will be first to observe. Many times we will just notice what mistake that person has done, but we may have ignored the whole situation as such. We may have ignored some small aspect here and there, which would also be equally important in the mistake that that person has made. Or, you know, so to understand the whole situation is very important. Now, where you are in midst of working and that mistake happens, possibly you are in pressure. So if somebody else has made a mistake and you are in the pressure of work, do you think you can positively handle that person's mistake? It's difficult, because you're already loaded with that pressure of work. Sometimes something has happened in the family and it's quite a big issue. So when you come to the office with that issue lying back of your memory and somebody makes a mistake, the mistake may not be so big, but your reaction could be much more than the mistake which has been made. So for all these and many more reasons, also we have to take into consideration the personality of the person also who has made the mistake. You have to deal according to what this person is also like. Because if a person is very, very strong headed and he has made a mistake and you become strong headed in front of him, do you think really you will get a solution? So, balancing the personalities while correcting somebody's mistake is very important. If that person is too weak, meek, gets emotional very soon, then you have to handle that situation in a different way. You have to balance the personality by you being very understanding and trying to make the person feel that, see, I'm not blaming you for the mistake you've made, but to find out solution, we have to talk. We have to discuss about it. Or, mistake sometimes is very big for the company's loss or something like that. But do you think that to use a negative solution for even that big loss would enhance your positivity in the vibrations of the company? There are still chances to overcome the loss. But at that time, we feel this is the end of the world. We are going to go through a great loss because of the mistake made by this department or made by this person. So at that time also, to stay calm and patient and just try to be as a part of the solution instead of the problem created by somebody's mistake. It is simple because life is an aspect of just to go on. Life doesn't teach you to stop anywhere, thinking that this is the end. Life says again, there is a new move, there is a new turn. How fast you can mold yourself to deal with all this. Life is giving you that signal. That is why even the fastest highways have got exits. You have to know which exit you have to take, not to waste time. So even to deal with anybody else's mistakes, your effectiveness cannot become less. The vibrations of the or the environment of the office, if gets demotivated just because somebody has made a mistake, that demotivation is going to spread like a virus towards everybody. You'll never know when. So to protect the environment of your department, of your company, is equally important than just focusing on mistakes. If some person you see is very often making mistakes, then you have to search that where exactly this person can, which place or which work can this person make least mistakes. Today, if that flexibility is not there, it's not that you demotivate him and say, you're not worth this. Come on, you start, like a peon, you just give him some work. No, that will demotivate him. Maybe he's got some other attributes, some other talents, which we may not be aware because we are all departmentalized, in the offices. So we don't realize the vastness of a person's personality. So sometimes we really get compartments in our intellect also about others. If somebody comes for many days late in office, which is again a mistake on his or her part. So we fix it in one of the compartments. This person is always late. So the company normally will give a memo saying that, this is the first memo that you are getting late and this will not be, allowed in the company. So the memo itself is not say, what do you call that, so, to motivate a person. That person feels bad for some time when he gets the memo. But because he's too strong in that habit, when he gets up in the morning, he doesn't remember the memo. and he again comes late. So this is a very common thing. So that person has to be inspired from within to change his own habit. Like, you can't force him to change his habit, but you have to inspire him to change his habit. Even if you say, okay, that's okay, I'll give you a proxy, you come late, it's going to enhance his habit of coming late. So somewhere, the learning skills, if they're enhanced in all of us, we're able to cooperate with each other in the right way. Even if a person has really made a grave mistake and you feel that, it's against the character or against the, norms of human life also, even at such a grave mistake, somewhere you can always be the one who can uplift the person and make him more responsible. There are all these talents within us. But just because we only focus on problems, we are not able to bring this into reality. And it's not just at workplace. This also equally happens at the home level also. For our own children, we feel to be strict, to be disciplined. And because we have a pressure of work, I have the right to get angry on my child or hit my child if the child is not working well at his school level or something, or if with a teenager, more dangerous with a teenager. Because that mind is also learning, no? That mind doesn't know what is right and wrong. But at the same time, do we really know what is right and wrong too? Whatever we feel from our little experience, we try to force on them. This is right. This is what you have to do. But unless we are not learning through our own steps, own situations at different ages, how well can we guide anybody else? And nowadays, like children from the very beginning, they are going through the Google, they are going through different references. It's not just parents. So what is happening about that? That they are already having their own ideas. And then if we try to force them with our ideas to correct their mistakes, they may not be ready to listen. So you must have observed whenever mistakes are happening, it becomes very delicate issue because someone or the other is going to feel bad. And then for some people, it is so that their mistake lies in their intellect for many years together also, which is very dangerous, very risky, because it's going to go to their children also. He's going to share that particular, that's very important, that whatever mistake anybody else makes or I make, I don't have to share it with 10, 15 people, especially somebody else's mistake. If suppose that person is transferred in another department, you don't need to tell that other person in the department that this person makes this particular mistake. You can always share some good point of that person. So maybe the other department may use the person with that good point of his. And that good point, when it is utilized by the other department, maybe the mistake may get less. Means you have to always be optimistic for a change that is to happen with anybody. I think somewhere, media and all these things, they are empowering our minds and intellects more with, the not good things. And how they are dealt with, today. And when we take in all these stories more and more, we forget our originality. We forget that there is something within us which is like a sparkle and which can think positive, which can think bright, which can think something nice out of the negative also. We completely forget that. So even the influence of our company, whichever company we keep, that also has a great influence on our decisions when we have to see somebody's mistakes or our own mistake. See, the best thing is, before correcting anybody's mistake, let me change my habit of looking at my own mistakes that I make. If I'm seeing somebody else's mistake, first put yourself in their shoes, because you could also make the same mistake. At that time, don't think that only this person can make mistake, not me. So your attitude towards that person becomes very strong, or irritation, or just to sometimes just to feel sorry for that person also is a negative feeling going towards that person. So it's not that it's only him or her who has made this mistake. And mistake doesn't mean something negative. Mistake is something that you did not know what you had to do at that time. You alternately did something which was not apt for that particular task. So you have to think differently. So why do we have meetings in the companies? Not only to plan out the day, but even to think differently. If this is not working, then we have to think differently. We have to think of something else. But sometimes we don't want to think differently. Then whose fault is it? We just want to make new little adjustments for what we are doing, and then we still cannot come out of the loss. And to think differently means your courage has to be there. Your risk-taking ability has to be used. And the cooperation of the team is also another important thing which can avoid making the mistake further. And the new idea could come from any level. Once, an automobile company made a very good car as a new model, and they did all the efforts that they could. But when that car had to be removed from the garage, the problem was that the car couldn't come out of the garage. So then they all started thinking from their point of view, one being the engineer, one being the analyst, one being somebody else, planner, and everybody started thinking from their own angle. Maybe for a small situation also, which can be tackled later, we try to put all our pressure at the first time itself. The watchman of that garage was overseeing the situation. And he saw and he just said, can you give me 1 second? Can I share something? So they said, okay, tell, what will you say? So he said, see, right now I know that the situation may be something else, the problem could be something else. But right now, why don't you remove the air from all the wheels and at least bring the car out? And then you can think, okay, what else can be done with this model? So sometimes the immediate solutions could be simple, trying to not make it so difficult enough. Later, you can find out, okay, where were we actually wrong and where we can correct ourselves. So the point is that immediately putting pressure on anything that has gone wrong is not the right approach. Yeah, you cannot be careless. You can't just ignore and say, it's okay, it happens, there's such things happen, it will happen with time. No, I'm not talking about this passive attitude. It's just that at that moment, you have to handle the situation very intelligently. instead of just imposing your personality on the other person. That is important. And even train your mind, no? We have to train our mind. Like, what is meditation? Meditation is nothing but training of your mind. Okay. Now, if you don't want to sit and meditate, it's fine. But you can at least train your mind, which is important. What will you train your mind for? Not to only, the mind has to be trained only to accept positive thoughts, creative thoughts, solutions. You have to train your mind that the mind will not accept something which is like another problem, which is like questioning the person who has made a mistake in a way to intimidate that person. See, your mind can work in any way you want. Ultimately, you are the one who is using your mind. So if you really feel that you have the will, the mastery, or the ownership of your mind and intellect, then at the same time, the sense of responsibility for using your mind and intellect equally is there. Isn't it? And as much you use it in simple solutions, in simple daily day-to-day lives, living, then at time of such situations, it will work. But you can't say, sister, at that time, how will it work? No, it will not work unless you have trained your mind in day-to-day actions. So your mind will become healthy. Your intellect will feel powerful because it will get help of the mind. And these situations where there are mistakes, which mistake word only creates tension in us. Some parents don't want their children to make even a smallest mistake. Now that is not life, no? Like that, some bosses, departmental heads, they don't want their department people to make one mistake also. It is not possible. It is through that mistake only that you will get a new idea. Sometimes it may happen. We have to take people together for overall success of our place. We have to take people together. Even a screw in one chair is equally important for the whole chair. So just because a person is making mistakes, you can't make your environment heavy. You have to take the personal responsibility of your own thoughts, emotions, your attitudes while you're dealing with others. That is equally important. Sometimes the mistakes could happen because the environment around that person is not motivating the person. You never know why the person is making mistakes. You must have seen the movie called Ichki, in which that class was totally notorious and not willing to even study because the school had given the opportunity to that. And that was not one person, that was a whole class. What was the methodology which that teacher takes? Her herself, she had a deficiency. Would that children in that class ever accept that deficiency and not make fun of her? They would, because they are already demotivated by keeping them separate and making them feel that they are not normal. So already they are demotivated. Now, in that particular situation, they would not be in capability of even accepting the teacher's deficiency. And at that moment, how she had to make effort to see their ability, their speciality, their talent. She had to do that so that they prepare themselves for the exam. See, one person handling so many, and it's not that, it could be a true story also taken from somewhere. Addition, subtraction, multiplication happens in movies. Leave all that out. Just take the motto of it. You could do this even for one child of yours, for one person in your department. But somewhere you have to see that people move, company moves. If one person also gets demotivated in your department, the company will have to face the effect of that, which we never take into consideration. And one thing is there, we feel I don't have any responsibility. It is the one who is at the head who has to do it. I don't have to do. I have my own family. I have a lot of work to do. I can't spare time like that. But maybe that particular person only needs you. How do you know that that particular person doesn't need you? And that is why it has come to you to deal with it. So if you make that extra effort, possibly there is a solution. But because of our own pressure, we feel, no, this is not my business at all. I can't do all this. So there are very subtle connections around all the people with us. It's not just talking and communicating with everybody. That's not the whole thing. There are these silent connections also, which ask for your energy to recorrect something that is happening by someone. Helping them, cooperating them. In that, it's important that your courage, your enthusiasm should not reduce. It's so important. What will happen if your courage and enthusiasm doesn't reduce? It will benefit you in your life too. If you will do something for somebody, it's always going to benefit you and your life. So it's not that always the effort and the mehnat that you do for your life, that is only that what counts. No, what you do for others also, like this suddenly unplanned ways, and you give your extra energy to that person or that particular mistake that has happened, it's going to make you move forward. There are different definitions of successes in life, which we sometimes even are not able to recognize. If there is a big failure in our life, gone. We spend more time in asking, why has this happened? How has this happened? Why didn't I understand this before? How did I make this mistake? How did I make this decision? We spend so much time only pondering on that failure that has happened. Will that work? Will that work? Your face will show, your expressions will show, your total attitude will show that you're just moving with the failure. And at that time, you feel so lonely, you feel it's only happening with you. But everybody is sailing in the same boat to whatever extent. If you find somebody who is neutral, who is non-judgmental, you can talk with that person, share, make yourself light, and try to find out, okay, how do I move on from here? Because I know life is never a dead end. There must be some way. And see, the solution is not going to come from the person whom you're talking to, never. But while talking to that person, while listening to that person, your intellect is going to get the solution. It is your sparkle that always works in your life, for yourself and even for others. So why not see life as an opportunity, as a positive challenge, where I don't have to wait for somebody to change that mistake for me, or I don't have to wait to change the mistake of somebody else. No, but I have to make an aim that some change, some solution, some way of, instead of talking about the mistake, doing something in a different way could help that person to not make the mistake again. So the slogan behind this to deal with others' mistakes is be light. Heaviness is not life. Heaviness is a stone. You want to be like a stone? Nobody wants to be like a stone. So you have to be light. Very light like the breeze. Can we not be light like the breeze instead of being heavy like a stone? I'm not talking about a balloon filled with gas, which can be light. No, I'm not talking about that. Because if that gas reduces for some reason, you're going to fall down. But the breeze always gives you the experience of lightness. You just sit in front of the seashore, and when the breeze comes, you feel so fresh and light. Same state of mind you have to develop, that my originality is not heaviness like the stone. It is the lightness like the breeze. And if I'm able to work for my originality, I think there will be so many things happening in the department and company which will allow the company to go on moving on instead of the mistakes also. Whether there are mistakes or not. So, mistake, instead of seeing the mistake and only thinking of correcting the mistake, it has to be to create an environment in which mistakes are not seen as mistakes, but the opportunities to bring some or the other change. So, if that way of perception is brought in, then definitely it will be much, much easier to accept anybody's mistakes and also deal with it. The thing is that courage and enthusiasm in my life cannot be deducted or subtracted or divided by anything. It is mine and I have to move on with it. These are my two wings in my life, courage and enthusiasm. They are my two wings. Can I ever cut my wings? No. If I have to live this life, I have to have my wings, courage and enthusiasm. And I cannot let it down because of my mistake or anybody else's mistake. And this is going to help for me to move on and also to help others in the right direction. So, thank you so much for today's time. And thank you for listening so patiently. I'm sure even your intellect and mind must be thinking that, yes, I will try to work in a new direction. Is it not? Thank you so much. Om Shanti. Do you want me to do a little meditation? But it's over time now. Or you have time, I can conduct a meditation for this.
We have 5 minutes, so we can do the meditation.
If anybody has any question, I would like to invite. So, Anushka ji, what do you think? We should carry on with meditation?
Yeah, we have like 4 to 5 minutes, so we can do the meditation.
Okay, great. Meditation is time to talk to yourself, to think differently, to bring the light in your consciousness. Yeah. To make the light focused completely within, Right now, when you're in the company, your light gets spread here and there, being utilized in different ways. So when you do meditation, your light gets focused within again, completely. Okay? So with that step of withdrawing the energy, which is the aspect or part of the light within, we completely focus it again within us, very near our brain, just in front of the brain. Try to feel all your energy, which are diversified in all the work that you do. It's now getting focused as a source of energy, light, just in front of my brain. And I wish to see my totality within the light. No compartments, no divisions, totality. And try to feel that energy undisturbed by yourself and anybody else. Just as when a light is not flickering, it is so stable. It is not affected by anything outside. Similarly, our own light, completely focused and stable, which signifies our totality of ourselves. And then try to feel that right now, in this moment, there cannot be any shades of negativity or waste in this, my own totality. As it is my own inner energy, without any influence of anything outside. As I always want to feel good, I always want to feel happy, I always want to feel peaceful, I always want to feel light. So this is part of our totality. And you can tell yourself, yes, I am peaceful. I am happy. I am light. Double light. The light which is energy, and the lightness without negative and waste, only positive and powerful. Now I decide to use this totality of mine in every task and with every person around me. And this is my decision. With my decision, I will keep the keys to all my thoughts, feelings, attitude, behavior with me and not with anybody else. I will look forward to life from its very beginning in the morning to the night moment, from where a new beginning of morning will happen. I will look forward to every change that is happening within me or around me. For me, now everything will be something to gain, something to learn, something to improvise. Life says to me, I never end. I don't give sorrow. I always serve. Listening to life, I also say, if you are like that, I will cooperate with you. I will also experience what you're experiencing. I will love you as life. Thank you so much for giving me this experience. As you are a giver, I will also be a giver. Feeling the light within yourself. Feeling that gracefulness within you. Let's come back into the outside environment to give, to share, to learn. You can rub your hands, feel the energy which is coming from the source in front of the brain and reaching your palm, and just give that feel to your face everywhere. Om Shanti, thank you. Thank you, Anushka ji, and everyone, all the best. Om Shanti, Banuji.
Om Shanti Didi, thank you so much for the session and this beautiful meditation. Thank you for coming to Utthaan today. And thank you to everyone else for joining. Let us meet the next week for the second session. Have a nice day. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, bye-bye.